right center. That ball is gone into Monument Park.
What up, people, and welcome to the 9th episode of the Monument Park podcast. I'm Cole Weintraub. That's Luke Pravacci. And these kinds of episodes are becoming so common at this point. We haven't won a weekend game since May 23rd. That's embarrassing. I actually witnessed both of our weekend losses, and it was truly heartbreaking. The Yanks are not looking like a playoff team at all, and it won't get any easier from here. Luke, what are you up to?
Nothing much. It's just each week it comes more and more clear that we're not going anywhere this year. It's just not. We don't have a winning team, a winning capable team. Yep. We got to start looking at future options going into 2022 and make sure a year like this doesn't happen again when we were supposedly in a championship window. We just couldn't be less in a championship state of mind or talent. I wouldn't even say talent, just as a team, just success. It just can't. If you take it back to last year, this is their second straight, like 50, 60 game span. Just isn't, it's not getting the job done.
Not at all. It's actually painful. Like, I can't stand it as a Yankee fan. My expectations are always really high, but like, this is beyond like mild expectation. Like, it won't even add up to like my mild expectations. Like, we're playing so bad. I'm just like done. Like, I'm emotionally spent with this team.
We're 9 games out of first in June. I don't know how that happened.
I believe the last time we came back from a deficit per se like that was 1978 when we played a tiebreaker game against Boston and Bucky Dent hit the home run, and that's known as one of the greatest divisional comebacks in Major League Baseball history. And I don't think this team has the fire to make that jump. And are we really playing for a wild card? I know people say you just got to get there, and it's just whoever the hottest team in baseball. I mean, we were the wild card team in 2017, but at no point in 2017 was it looking like this at all. We had that
rock. Yeah, no, it's just like, it's way worse than it ever was in 2017. 2017, we had no expectations and just got hot. This year, we knew what we had, or we thought we knew what we had, and just everyone across the board, other than Aaron Judge, is just underperforming on the offensive side of the ball. And it's shown we're a 500 team, and we're going to be a 500 team until some things get changed around.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people like to say, oh, Yankee fans got to chill. Yankee fans got to chill. I think that's kind of ridiculous to say that. We're not going to chill. We're not going to chill when we say that we want to, sell a bunch of the team. It's just it's getting to the point where we need to look into the future. This team needs to win a World Series, and we can't win a World Series with this team. This team, year in, year out, is the favorite, but we never follow through because it's constructed so poorly. I don't know how many times I've said it's so poorly constructed. It just is. We have too many righties. We don't have enough, pitching in the big moments, I feel like. I mean, our pitching in big moments this year hasn't been spectacular by any means. We always run into tight situations because we make, quick decisions.
Consistency and quality are both lacking with this team. And you can't – usually teams that are really talented are either not consistent or just come in and underperform, but at least like a little bit, but at least it's consistent based off the talent they have. We're underperforming consistently, which just usually doesn't happen, and just shows the flaws that this team has been built with and will stay with until we ship off some of the guys that are expendable and build around the guys that are going to be here for a long time. It just seems dark because there really isn't I couldn't tell you how to fix it. It's something that they're going to have to figure out on the fly almost, and I don't trust them to do that.
I mean, we as fans always like to think that we're the GMs, but it's gotten to the point where I don't even know we as the fans can figure out something that's going to get us to the promised land. I wouldn't know what the promised land is if it came up and hit me in the face. Like, I haven't seen it in 11 years. I've almost lived 2 lives since that freaking, or half a life since that World Series one. It's just, what am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying, but it's just bad. It's just
I
really
know you're like, yeah.
it's just
Very
bad.
good.
It's been 11
Just
years. It's just
not
10
good.
or
Too long.
12. Is it 12? It's since 09.
Yeah.
So, we picked up, if we're gonna pick up where we last were, talked about the Twin series at the end of last episode, said it was gonna be an easier series, um, because the Twins stink. I mean, that was Tuesday, game one. Luke, would you like to talk about Tuesday?
Yeah, I mean, coming off that Red Sox sweep, it was as low as you can get. I feel like it really doesn't get lower than getting swept by the Red Sox at home. And then Monty lets up a couple runs in the first, and I was just in shock. I was done with the team, ready to just pack it in again. Like, I wasn't, it's getting repetitive with them. When they start slow, they just don't come back, and I wasn't having that again. But his final line, he got out of first, I think 2 runs, and then went 5 2/3, 8 hits for only 3 runs and 6 Ks, which 5 2/3, 3 runs is fine. And Michael Pineda was on the bump, and he's just not an athlete anymore. Like, he got so big, I don't know what happened, and he made an error on a little chopper comebacker that opened the door for us, and we capitalized with a bases loaded walk and a wild pitch. And we manufactured some runs in the 6th or 5th, 6th, and 7th. I think Guardy had a sac fly, and I believe we tacked on one more to make it 5-3. And then Gary and Andujar both went deep. They crushed those balls to make it 8-3. And yes, after Monty, Loaziga, Chad, and Wandy all kind of shut the door, and it was a low stress 8-3 win. We kind of had it in command after we tied it, but the start was concerning. You knew this team's just capable of breaking down sometimes. And I was glad we got it together and finally got a win. But none of the wins that we've had in the last couple of weeks have shown any change in the flaws that we've seen all year, and this one was no different. It was just good to get the win at the end of the day.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all I have.
It was actually at the end of we had taken a 3-2 lead on a Guardy sac fly.
Yeah, exactly.
And Monty gets 2 outs and gives up a 2-out single, and then he throws a wild pitch, and then Rob frickin' Refsnyder comes up, doubles off the top.
Oh, the double. Yeah.
And slides into second and gets hurt, and we didn't see him the rest of the series.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate for him because he had already had 2 hits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a low stress win, like you said. We don't have too many of those, and I think that's really where our confidence may have been there. Because I mean, we weren't the most optimistic people, but we had just, we just put up what, how many hits we had? We had 14 hits. We scored 5 runs in the last 2 innings, and we had 14 hits coming off our last Boston game with 11. So that's 25 hits in 2 games. So you're thinking the offense is slowly coming around and the pitching will follow, but that was just really, we kept the momentum going into game 2. There was a lot of buzz going in. We talked about it. Garrett Cole, Josh Donaldson. Are we going to see Cole throw at Donaldson to add a spark into this Yankees team? And I mean, that didn't happen. He just dominated Josh Donaldson. Yeah. Sat him down twice, got a weak fly out. Cole's final line, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 9 Ks. His spin rate was middle between his brutal start against Tampa and his start, or his previous 6 or 8 starts to start the year. His spin rate, it was 40 points lower than his average through his first 9 starts, but then 50 points higher than his last start. So it was kind of a balance. I think I said in the last episode that Garrett Cole's spin rate was down 600 RPMs. I don't know where I got that from,
I don't think that.
I think if a spinner
like,
got
what?
600, it'd be just awful.
At 0, yeah, no,
yeah.
like, yeah.
So I think it went from like 2,700 something down to 2,600 in the high 2,600. So he looked good. Stanton went off, 2 home runs. Judge went yard and Duhar went yard. 15 hits. I believe I said we had 25 hits in 2 games prior, and now we have 40 hits in 3 games. And you're just thinking, offense, offense, offense. Carried it into game 3 with Jay Happ on the mound and actually called this game the entire 3 hours and 45 minutes. And it was brutal. It was brutal calling the end of the game.
You should post that clip with the pod when you release it, that walk-off home run call.
Yeah.
You just see it in your face.
I made the call. I looked down just to make I was changing the scorecard a little bit. And I was very upset. I had fun time doing it. Yanks looked pretty good. When you give Aroldis Chapman a 2-run lead against a team that, I mean, they can certainly hit, but they can't pitch. And I was comfortable going into the 9th. I thought we did enough. Usually 5 runs is enough when you give up only 3. And then, I mean, that was probably the worst 9th inning I've ever watched from just an absolute domination standpoint from the jump. Like, it was just Chapman was done. Like, his leadoff single was like, that was the end of him. Easily one of the more brutal losses of the season. You had 2 hits from DJ. Judge went 1 for 5. Gleyber had 3 hits. Urshela had two hits. A lot happened in this game. You had, from a scoring standpoint, you had a Stanton 3-run home run in the first inning. You would think a 3-run home run in the first inning. You're feeling really good. I was feeling really good about it. Actually, Andujar looked really good in the outfield in this game. Made a diving catch, taking away an extra base hit on Nelson Cruz.
Ball was smoked. That was a really good catch.
It was a sac fly, so it made it 3-1. Actually, sorry, go back in the first inning. So after the Stanton home run, Urshela tripled off the wall. Kirilloff went down. Urshela gets to third. Happ there was a pass, or I think Happ strikes out Gary, but then with 2 outs, Happ there was a passed ball or a wild pitch, and it gets away from the catcher. I'm pretty sure it was Rortvedt who was starting for Jeffers. That's besides the point. Ball gets away, throws it to the plate, and Happ's entire body is like blocking the plate. He's like fishing for the ball, but he actually bare hands the ball on one hop from the catcher. Never seen it before.
Crazy. And he ends up full in slide too. He was sliding in movement, just caught it with his throwing hand. I've never seen anything like it.
It was crazy. And then he somehow made the play, but like the whole time I'm thinking that Happ blocked the plate because Urshela had really no clear path to the plate once Happ's entire body was there. So that I knew when that happened, I knew that like we had just gotten the 3 runs, but we could have had a 4th. The
momentum change right there. It went from it was a 2-run swing because they added 1 or responded with 1 in the bottom of the first. So it went from potentially 4-0 to then 3-1. And you could tell with the momentum. And it kind of fed in the rest of the game. We were still getting hit, but 2 for 9 with DeRozan scoring position just wasn't – we just weren't getting the job done. Yeah. And we ran out of luck with the bullpen.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
I mean, Urshela hits a home run in the 4th, followed by a Gary pop-up. And then Miguel singles, and Chris Gittens comes up and swings opposite field. And
oh, my God.
They call it a homer, and it's Chris Gittens' first major league hit, first major league home run. Great moment. But supposedly on the broadcast, Gittens didn't really seem like it was a fair ball. So really didn't get his hopes up too much. Because if he had thought it was a home run originally and he started running the bases, then he would have thought, and then you would have felt really bad for him. But I felt bad for him regardless. Ball is like maybe 3 feet foul. So that's another momentum swing, even though we had just gotten a Gio home run. Gio home run was like a bomb. So that would have made it a 6-1 game instead of 4-1. We don't do anything the rest of that inning. They come back with an RBI double. We come back with an RBI double, a 1-out double, and we end up pulling King in the 4th inning. The Twins actually had they led off with a Sano single, and then they had a sack bunt with their catcher. Like you don't see that
Never
at all, especially in the 4th inning. Like I don't know. They ended up scoring the runs though, so you tip your cap to that. Get out of the inning after Litke came in, did his job, hit the first batter, but struck out Donaldson. And then, the scoring kind of slows down. Then we get a 2-out base RBI single from DJ in the 6th, which was huge. I was like, that's just like, it kind of reminded me of the Brad Hand single in the playoff game. He kind of just dribbled it right back up the middle. That was cool. So that makes it 5-2, and you're feeling good. You're totally feeling good. We give up an RBI double, Wandy to Nelson Cruz. Cruz destroys lefties. Cruz did an RBI double, made it 5-3. Green comes in, strikes out Sano, big strikeout. So you're still up 2 runs, like I was talking about earlier. And then we get 2 quick outs in the 8th, and Celestino doubled, we thought, off the wall, and Andujar comes up throwing and throws an absolute seed to throw Celestino at second base. It was just a good all-around game from Andujar and left. We don't do anything on Hansel Robles, strike out twice in the 8th. And then the 9th goes as follows. Single, Josh Donaldson 2-run home run. Like he was just.
It felt like the Altuve home run from earlier this year, where it was we had their number the whole time, and then in the last game at the end, just falls apart.
It was like we don't like them, we don't like you at all, and then the villain comes up and just.
That's what I'm saying. It was the same thing. To avoid the sweep, it was literally the same scenario.
And then Williams Astudillo comes off the bench, hits like a 98-mile-an-hour like single to the left, and then followed up by a first pitch Nelson Cruz gorilla punching chest walk-off home run. I was in disbelief. I mean, I thought we were going to lose the game once Donaldson hit the home run, but I mean, just didn't.
It just happened so fast. It was so fast. It was done. I was at graduation, and it was just not. I looked 1 second, which 5-3, middle of the 9th, and then I checked back 90 seconds later, and the game's over.
It said 7-5 final.
I don't even understand. I don't know. It sucks. It just sucked. Not a good loss. Killed all the momentum.
Yeah, I was pretty neutral on my broadcast. I didn't show a lot. I showed a lot of emotion, but not emotion, shielding to the Yankees, or, pushing it to the Yankees. I wasn't trying to make it clear that I was a Yankee fan. But it was hard. It was certainly hard, but I think I'll probably keep pumping out more and more broadcasts just to get a little practice going, because that's what I'm trying to do when I get older. Trying to make it to the league, I guess. And then, I get in my car and I go to Philadelphia after a weird Friday off day. I don't know why that's a thing, but you get your heart ripped out by Minnesota, but you still put together 12 hits. So what is that? I think we said 40 hits in 3 games, 52 hits in 4 games. I think that's what is that? 13 hits a night on average in 4 games.
Yeah.
So you're still feeling pretty good. The offense is here. And I get to the stadium early. I want to take away. I don't want to take away from your reaction. I probably should have given you the last game, but you were at grad.
You're good. Yeah, no, this weekend was tough for seeing full games. Totally. We can just go back and forth with it.
Totally. So.
No, but yeah.
I mean, Saturday comes around, and Luke's boy Jameson Tyone's on the bump, and I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling all right. Vince Velasquez is on the bump, and he doesn't scare me. And so Tyone just gets absolutely shelled in the first inning. 4 runs.
God.
4 runs, gets 1 out, knocked out. I was on my feet. I was looking right in his eyes as he's walking off the mound. I'm sitting third base side. Boo! Like, get out of here. Thanks for nothing. You stink, pretty much. Good guy, just not
Terrible.
great.
Just not a great baseball player right now, and there's nothing you can do.
So we fall behind 4-0 in the first inning after our starter gets knocked out, and you're thinking to yourself, we're not supposed to win this game. Like, this game should be over. When your starter's knocked out of the first inning, you're supposed to lose. Like, it's just kind of how it goes. Because you're not supposed to, kill your bullpen when you're down all those runs. So you're supposed to bring in your low leverage guys and hope they piece together, and you hope you come back. 4 runs, you can come back from that. Got a big home run in the first inning from Gary Sanchez. Or the second inning by Gary Sanchez, followed up by an Odor pop out, but then Andujar singled, and then Gardy hit an RBI triple. That was exciting. So then we just cut the deficit in half. It's 4-2. You're feeling
that was the first time all year that we really answered like that, where we were dead, and then we come back and give them a couple runs, and like, all right, we're in this game, Yeah. Which I didn't see that before until this game, which was the only really upside of it is we had offense and it was at the right moments.
I know I always go back. I just always forget what I really have to make my point on prior things. But in that first inning, it felt like Tyone just didn't have anything to put away any hitter. I believe Segura, I can't see how many pitches he threw to Segura in that at bat, but Segura at least fouled. I called it right. I said, Segura, he's going to get to 2 strikes and just foul it off. He had 6 or 7 foul balls with 2 strikes. And then he hits a single. After Odubel Herrera, who killed us, hit a bloop single, broken bat. But it went Odubel single, Segura single, Romuto single, Harper single. 4 singles. Mound visit, Hoskins walk, McCutcheon sac fly, so you get your 1 out. But it was still a run. You're down already 3-0. Bohm single, Torreyes single. And 2 strikeouts of Velasquez and Herrera after Nestor Cortez came in. Nestor did a good job. Came in, went 3 2/3, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. That's good to me. 6 strikeouts. You good over there?
No, just give me a second.
You're good.
We're keep moving.
So you cut it in half. You have a scoreless second inning. So you're thinking, all right, we just put up a scoreless second inning. Let's continue that momentum from the third inning. DJ leads off with a double. And then it just looks like the typical New York Yankees from this year. A Judge strikeout, a Glaber ground out, and a Urshela strikeout. Just went down like dogs. Third inning comes around, a 1-2-3 inning for Cortez. You're thinking, all right, Nestor's coming in, still a 2-run game. So Gary flies out, Odor singles, and then it's into a double play. It's just the Yankees back-to-back innings, like what we expect. And then, it was brutal. Lead off double by Herrera, wild pitch, so he's standing on third base with nobody out. And then Segura hits a broken bat bloop single into center field to knock in Herrera. So now we're down 5-2, and we just lost.
That was demoralizing. He such a bat breaker, soft contact hit, and it just going from 4-2 to 5-2 always feels tough. But when it's lucky, it sucks.
There was a kind of a funny play. Gary blocked the ball in the dirt, and it looked like he wasn't even paying attention at the runner. And Segura took off, and it was just like, oh, here's another Gary clown music highlight. Gary gets up, realizes he's like, oh snap, he's going to second. He just throws an absolute dot to second base when we get him. But it was just like, what are you doing? It was like that play in Tampa Bay where Gary knocked the ball down and then Bowers went from second to home on the pass ball. It was like Gary didn't look like he cared. And then he gets up and proceeds. So he did that. And then we get out of the inning. 5th inning comes around. Perfect opportunity to score. We get a Gardy bunt on a 3-1 pitch. Single, his second hit, a Gittins walk. And then LeMahieu grounds into a force out, safe at first. So it's first and third. Judge strikeout, Torres strikeout. So we don't score again. At this point, you're not feeling good about it. Sessa comes in, walks Hoskins, single McCutcheon, single Bone, 6-2. Double Torres that goes off the edge of Urshela's glove into the tarp area. Just so softly hit, but it's just Ronnie being Ronnie. 7-2. That's how many straight base hits? That's 3 straight base hits, 4 straight base runners. We get a Brad Miller line out, a Herrera ground out, and a Segura ground out. So it's 7-2. You're not feeling good. Odor comes up with 2 outs, pimps a home run to the second deck.
I don't know how you pimp one down 7-2. I saw that. I was like, dude, like run around the bases. We're getting smoked.
He pimps everything though. It's like he takes a swing and it's just like pimp. There's no room for home run that's like, oh, I gotta run. He always does the little, fling. So it's 7-3. It's like you're back in the first inning. You just gotta chip away, I guess.
Yeah, square one.
7th inning. Leadoff walk from Gardner, a Clint Frazier ground out. Clint Frazier, we're going to talk about it in a minute. Clint Frazier needs to go. He needs to go. Like, he stinks. He stinks. I don't like Clint Frazier. So we do nothing with the runner on first. Obviously, ground ball, double play. LeMahieu ground out to end the inning. Britton came in. First time we're seeing him. He goes 1-2-3 with a ground out, a pop out, and a strikeout. That was cool. 8th inning comes around. Leadoff base runner. Torres line out. Urshela ground out. But then Gary came up and hit a very clutch RBI single. Gary looked like Gary the series. Well, I mean, Gary looked like Gary. He didn't look like Gary because Gary would just strike out, but Gary would, come up clutch.
Opposite field, too. He's on when he's hitting anything in the vicinity of right field with hard contact. And his off is just not even looking at right field, but he stayed through it nice. And I feel like he's quietly putting together a good little stretch here after a bad start.
And that was the first earned run of the season for Philly's left-hander Ranger Suarez, who had gone, I believe, 20 1/3 innings or 20 2/3 innings without giving up a single run.
It's impressive.
You're hitting. It was an impressive run, but when Gary comes up and does that, looking pretty good. And then we get Stanton off the bench with a runner on, lefty against Stanton, down 3 runs. Home run makes it 1. And he hits like this, kind of like, it was like a soft liner at the mound, and like the guy Suarez knocked it down still. We pinch hit Rugi after he had 2 hits. We just wanted the matchup. And then when you pay your guy $33 million to play a team that you destroyed when you were in the NL East, and he gets 1 at-bat the entire series because you're too afraid to play him in left field. That is ridiculous. That makes me so angry. Like, that makes me so angry. It's just brutal. It's really I understand if it's like a Nelson Cruz. Like, he's not athletic. Like, I'm sure JD Martinez, if they were playing on the road, he'd go out and play the outfield. Not Giancarlo Stanton, though. Not Giancarlo Stanton, not the guy that we pay $33 million a year to DH and do absolutely nothing when we go and play crosstown games against National League teams on the road. No. We get a 1-2-3.
So mismanaged.
Yeah. Just
he's just it's so bad.
The fact that we have to do that is so stupid.
Crazy.
Green goes 1-2-3. And then you flip it to the 9th inning. And when I say that this was probably the most excited I've ever been at a baseball game, I mean, that might sound sad, but it was crazy because you're down the whole game. You kept getting kicked in the mouth the whole game. You come back, they score. You come back, they score. And getting your pitcher knocked out in the first inning, I was already feeling pretty bad. You make that drive to Philadelphia, you sit in those nice seats, you're just like, jeez. So Andujar grounds out to start the inning. Nice play by Hoskins. Gardy walks. Gardy was on base like every time this game. Like he
looked like OG Gardy with his at-bats.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing pitches good.
Wade, who was put in for defense, walks. So you have first and second, and the tying run is coming to the plate. You get a mound visit because they got to talk things over. And I'm not sure if I can enter the clip in here. Just if I can, I'll put it in right here.
Come on, DJ. Yeah! Go, 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 go! Yeah! Let's go! Yeah! Yeah! Let's go! Yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Woo! Let's go! Yeah! Let's go! Yeah! 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 You lose any? Let's go!
Check it out. DJ comes up and hits an absolute low line drive. I had no chance. I didn't think I had any chance of going out. I'm screaming, go, go, go. And it leaves. And it's a 3-run home run. We just tied the game. And I went bananas. I lost my marbles, bro. Me and my dad were going crazy. It was so exciting. Like I almost I was like shaking, bro. I know that sounds ridiculous, but when you come back like that, and of course, it felt like the LeMahieu home run in the playoffs. What do we do after the LeMahieu home run? A Judge strikeout and a Torres strikeout. When we have Hector Neris in the palm of our hand, what do? We just drop him. We don't crunch him. We drop him. And I mean, you could blame that part of the game as to why things didn't end the way we wanted it. Chad Green stays in the 9th inning. They're not going to Chapman to face Harper. Harper comes up and hits a leadoff double. I thought it was going out. I was like, of course.
It was a missile. Hit the top of the wall.
Absolute missile. I want to see the exit velocity on that. Hold on. So Harper
very high.
Harper hits a very high double. It was 109 off the bat, traveled 390 feet. So we're lucky that doesn't leave. But then we get a fly out from Hoskins, an intentional walk. A lot of people were big on this intentional walk here. You intentionally walk, you get the first and second, you put yourself in a position for a double play, right? We get a ground out, a great play by Gleyber Torres up the middle. It was an absolute.
He looked good defensively. He did.
He's definitely.
We'll see where it goes, but it was just good to see that he has it in him.
It's like that Tiger series. Gleyber made those 2 errors, and we look back at that Tiger series and we're like, that was where our season went to. You know what?
Yeah.
But I think ever since Gleyber's aneurysm fit in the dugout, he's looked better at shortstop. So I'm happy about that. So he gets the out. Runner stays at third, so it's first and third. And Ronald Torres comes up to the play, and I was like, is this really how things are going to go? Is Ronald Torres about to hit a walk-off of us? And Chad Green strikes him out. Big strikeout. I was hyped. So you go to the 10th, and you're like, all right, here's where we got to put damage. The Phillies have nobody behind Archie Bradley. Archie Bradley's pitching. If we don't score a run, we got to push it to the 11th. We have to push it to the 11th. But I felt like if we didn't score in the 10th, we weren't going to win. So Urshela comes up, gets in like a 3-ball, 2-strike count, and hits a weak dribbler back to the mound. Or weak dribbler, almost like a swinging bunt. Gleyber's at second base and doesn't move. It could have advanced him.
I thought so. They showed the replay so many times, and it was like the view where you could see everything. He would have gotten hosed, I think, because it wasn't like he was moving on contact. So when he didn't originally go, he just had to stay.
I know, but that's his fault. That's his fault, though. He should have been anticipating. If you see that, you're supposed to just get on your horse. If it was, a lot of Yankee players, and it happened in the next game, a lot of Yankee players will, see a line or a bouncing ball to the shortstop, and they'll be on second base. And instead of holding something that you're taught in Little League, they'll just start running to third. It makes
just aggressive at the wrong time. Just aggressive at the wrong time.
Is it aggressiveness or is it stupidity? It's both.
It's just
stupid. It's just straight up stupid. They literally. I don't know how these guys. can go through the minor leagues making base running blunders like that. That is ridiculous. How do you do that? Like, seriously, how you're taught not to do that? How do you continue to do it? And it keeps happening. It's not like this like stopped. It just it's not one person too. It's like 5 or 6 different people. Talkman did it once. Like, and he's gone. Maybe we should trade everyone that doesn't. Speaking of Mike Talkman, he hit a go-ahead grand slam out of the first row against the Texas Rangers. Big home run. He did his Mookie Betts. Cool. He like started screaming around first base. I thought it was really funny. But back to the game. So Gleyber doesn't move. Gary comes up, strikes out. So this Gary, not that Gary, this Gary comes up to the plate and strikes out. And then we got
3 straight pitches. It was 3 straight pitches, and they were all high fastballs. He swung at everyone. It was like
Archie Bradley doesn't throw very hard. He throws 94, 95. I'm not saying I can hit 94, 95, but I mean, these guys are paid to do it. Kyle comes up off the bench, last guy on the bench. You're hoping for, Kyle Higashioka, Blue Jays at bat, where he just, looks like an absolute stud. But he struck out. I'm starting to think people figured out Kyle Higashioka, and he's just not a good hitter at all. And
just don't throw fastballs down the middle, and fastball counts, and you'll be all right.
So we don't do anything with that runner. I'm still not feeling good about it. And then it just continues. It just continues. So in high school ball, any, middle school ball, you're taught about the wheel play where third base crashes on a bunt, shortstop covers third, and it just moves like that. So runner obviously starts at second. It's Torres. He's pretty quick. So Jankowski comes up. They bring in a lefty. They had 2 options. They could have brought in Matt Joyce, who's the lefty, and Travis Jankowski, who's also lefty. They have 3 lefties on the bench, facing a right-handed pitcher that day. Jankowski bunts it back to Chapman pretty hard. Like he bunted it pretty hard. Chapman looks to third. He literally, that's a play that the lefty can make because it's right in front of him. He doesn't have to turn his body like a righty. He fields it, and all he's got to do is just got to throw it right there. He doesn't need to, turn his body or anything. Gleyber just doesn't move. Like, there's 2 guys sitting at second base.
There's just no one there. There's no one there. No one there.
Chapman looks at third because, he's trying to make the logical play. Like, the runner's going. Like, I have a chance to throw him out here. And if he throws him out, then we're in a much better situation. Looks at the runner. Nobody's there. So then he throws to first, like, last second, and he makes a bad throw because he rushed it, because he had no more time, because nobody was covering third base, because we're taught to play baseball like idiots. Who's teaching these guys how to play baseball? Like, we need new staff that's going to go in and teach these guys how to play fundamental baseball, because they can't. That's why they're losing. They lose because of stupid little stuff like that. So it's already a runner on first and third with nobody out. The winning run's on third. We get a fly out, a pop out to Urshela. Shortstop comes in. I don't know what the second baseman's doing. And Jankowski goes from first to second. Not that run means anything, but it does mean something.
It does, though. It does, because they could have turned the double play.
It keeps the double play. So once that happens, you think, all right, we'll just intentionally walk to, load the bases, right? No, that doesn't happen. We just pitched to Gene Segura, who's hitting like 330 this year. I know JT Realmuto's on the bench or on deck, and I know JT Realmuto is fast. But come on, at least give your team a chance. Like, the worst thing that could happen is JT comes up and hits a bloop single and they win. Or JT comes up and hits a grand slam. Either way, it's a walk-off. At least give your team a chance to turn to double play. And then move it on to the 11th inning. And like I just said earlier, the Phillies don't really have anybody past Neris and Bradley. So once you get past them, you're looking pretty good. Why? And nobody was talking about it. That's what angered me the most. Nobody said a word about intentionally walking Gene Segura. I felt like I was but everybody at the stadium did. But nobody in the press conference. I didn't hear it in the press conference. I didn't see it I barely saw it on Twitter. Nobody said anything. And that's what made me the most mad. Post-game reaction, I said fire and boot immediately. He's the worst coach ever, worst manager ever. Because if you have a baseball mind, that's the first thing you think of. Oh, we just made a mental error. The guy goes first and second. We'll just intentionally walk. Those runs don't matter. We give our team a chance to win. We give our team a chance to turn a double play.
Any ball in play, Segura was an automatic walk-off pretty much. Any ball on the ground with no force. And it just happened exactly like that. The guy's hitting 330. Obviously, he's just going to go and put a ball in play on the ground because he knows all he needs to do is get the runner from third to home with no force, no worry about a double play. And it just happened exactly like that. We basically gave him
it's a soft ground ball down the line. Urshela
gave him the win.
Urshela makes a great diving play and throws from his backside. And it was a great play, great stab. But I don't expect Gio to make that play. I don't expect him to make a diving play where he's got to throw over the top of the base runner in the baseline, and Gary's going to make the tag and tag him out, especially Torres, who moves. Just that was the most angering ending to such an exciting comeback. I was thinking, you always think about that one series, one game. I was thinking that DJ home run was the jolt in our season. I thought that was boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom. Here we are. This is it.
Exactly.
But it wasn't because we can't play the game the right way. We don't play the game the right way, and we lose because of it. I don't even really want to talk about the second game. It was brutal. We lost 7-0.
No, there's nothing good.
No.
There's nothing even worthwhile. Herman had a tough one. He was bound to have a tough one eventually. He's been lights out. So we didn't hit. We got shut down by Nola. It just was what it was. Can't really.
I'm getting heckled there. Of
course.
And two things bothered me. And that 7-0 loss. A couple things. A little more than two things. The team was lifeless. From the jump, we were lifeless. DJ hit a leadoff base hit, and then Glaber, the next pitch, hit a double play. So I was there it is. Lifeless. Rougned Odor hits a leadoff double, down 7 runs in the 6th or 7th inning. And the next batter, the guy hits a ground ball to shortstop, and he runs. What are you doing? Why is he running? Who's telling you to run? Or I don't know. It's what are you doing? It's just really angry. And then Clint strikes out, and I get on my feet, and I say, "Hey, Clint, you suck," on the top of my lungs. And it was pretty quiet, so I hope he heard me. I hope he heard me. He stinks.
God.
So we get swept in a mini series. We have, like I said in the intro, we haven't won a weekend game, aka a Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday, since May 23rd. We were swept by the Red Sox. We didn't play on the weekend against the Twins. And then here we are losing two weekend games. Didn't play on Friday. So I'm just done. How am I going to sit back and be yeah, this team's going to make the playoffs? No, they're not. Not playing like this.
No chance. We're not making the playoffs. I'm honestly at the point where it's time to start looking for who's going to stay and who's going to go going into 2022. It's just bad. There's nothing, no life. The Rays are unbelievable. We're not winning the division. Wild card's a toss-up between 6 teams. There's just, with the way we're playing, there's no way. I just want to look more in the future to where we can figure it out. So this year's an anomaly and we're back in the playoffs in the next couple of years.
So me and Zach put together a short list, a 5. If the Yankees plan on dogging it the rest of the season and make the logical move of moving guys, getting value, setting up money, setting up value for potential trades that they need to make to get better they need to look to next year, and maybe we sell a lot, sell the key pieces, but then we bring in some other people, some, a Ketel Marte. I know that's not a little move because it's going to be a substantial move, but we trade for Ketel Marte, but we're also getting value back from all the trades that we're making, and hopefully that just sparks something, because we're not trading one of our, well, we are trading. We really want to trade one of our 5 starters, but that'll probably be for the best. We're not trading anybody. We're not really trading anybody of value in the starting lineup, but our catcher. Maybe it just sparks the team. Maybe we can crack a wild card. Like that'd be cool. I know, but I feel like the Yankees are a team that once they commit to something, they're gonna try to commit all to it and not lay off and like do one thing, but then
there's two sides of the spectrum. They're either full sell or full compete, and I don't think a middle area is really something that is in the cards. But I do think it would be the best for the team where we're using some of our pieces we have now that aren't a part of the future, or we don't want to be part of the future, to gain prospect capital, and then on the other hand, using the prospect capital that we already have to build more pieces for the future. I just think doing both at the same time would be the only efficient way to keep this championship window, which isn't even really a championship window because we made the ALCS twice in like 6 years, to keep that window open and give ourselves more chances to get back to the playoffs to make it a run.
Yeah. So the list that we made of guys that we think should move. Well, I know Luke doesn't feel too good about one of them, but I think it's a possibility considering the guys in the contract year. You have Clint Frazier, Justin Wilson, Jameson Taillon, Aroldis Chapman, maybe Gary Sanchez, maybe Luke Voigt.
Yeah. I mean, depends what Gary asks for.
Yeah.
In free agency after the year.
Because we could always move him this year to a team that's contending. I'm not really my mind's not really on a team that's really needing a catcher in the moment. If I try to quickly think about it, I'm not really sure if a team that's like trying to make a playoff push really needs a catcher. Maybe like a team that's been hot lately, like the Angels. I mean, I can't really think of any more.
Yeah, no, I definitely think the guys on the contract year, like at least Gary, he would definitely be more of a leave in free agency. I don't think he's kind of a isolated case. No one's really like Gary, so it has to be an exact fit of someone really wanting him, and then we're tanking to where it would work. But yeah, in general, whether it's at the deadline or in the off season, I think the guys you just named all have a realistic chance of being moved. I haven't really heard much Chapman noise, like we're going to move him, but the amount we're paying him with the other pieces we have in the bullpen just doesn't make sense. We have too many other holes where that money could be better used more efficiently.
Yeah.
And I don't think we go anywhere unless we free up as much money as we can, because so much of our money is already tied into certain places that can't be moved. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do it. And I hope they don't just lay down and let this team die. But at this point, I'm not ready to doubt anything with the front office leading down to the players.
Right. So we were thinking if the Yanks were to move Gary this year, you have Higashioka, and then you call up Robinson Chirinos, veteran catcher. I mean, just to finish out the year. And then next year, I've said it in prior episodes. I've said it to Luke probably 25 times. Tucker Barnhart's an interesting option. He's in a team option next year. Maybe we end up trading for Barnhart this year. I don't know, but I think adding just another lefty bat, a veteran catcher who handles rotations well, I think that could definitely be a move. Short term, maybe 3 years if he ends up getting into free agency. At first base, you have Luke Voigt, and I said it to Luke. He wasn't really too fond of it, but maybe Miguel Andujar. I know you're giving him all this like left field time. And I don't really know if it makes the Yankees better by moving Andujar to play first, but I feel like Andujar's bat needs to be in the lineup. He's like that little leaguer. Someone said this to me. He's like that little leaguer who hits, but like stinks at playing defense. But you got to find him. You got to hide him somewhere. and maybe playing first base is the move. But I mean, I saw him play left field this series in Philadelphia, and he just looks so uncomfortable out there. Like, just seeing it in person, he just doesn't look like he
long term.
Yeah. He's just not.
I
He's
get you.
not a left fielder. He like moves around like a football player playing baseball. It just doesn't work. DJ's a lock at second. I think Glaber, I wouldn't say he's a lock at playing shortstop, but I think that's what we gotta roll with.
We have bigger issues. We have much bigger issues than his defense. I could see a situation where we move Voit, and then instead of getting another first baseman, we get another middle infielder and move everyone around, like DJ to first, Glaber to second, all that. But other than that, I don't think we would move Voit and then replace him with a first baseman. So I think the only way Glaber loses the spot at short is if something happens with Voit, which is kind of out of his control. Other than the couple games where he's fallen apart defensively, he's shown flashes of what he can do. And I think in a year where it's becoming more and more clear that we're in a transitional year, it's okay to let him make those mistakes now. And hopefully he'll be ready for the big moments when we figure the team out and get back to where we need to go. But yeah, the outfield's a mess. The outfield's just a mess. It could be Stan. I feel like they're going to have to change something with how they're handling him, because it's just not working now. Potentially, you said earlier, Hicks coming back. If we get a new center fielder, which I think we need to get a new center fielder, I don't think we make any significant strides without a new center fielder. One of the Martes. It's the most important thing on my watch list going into the deadline in the offseason. Even though Starling said he wants to stay in Miami, we know Ketel's on the trade block, and Starling probably is too. Without a new center fielder, it's just a hole that we need to fill. And getting a new center fielder, then potentially moving Hicks to left, seeing what Stan can do. We still have Andrew Har. Clint's going to be gone, hopefully, but he's another outfielder. Bringing in a center fielder would make a huge, huge impact on this team, especially with Judge pretty much locked in and right. I don't think we have to worry too much about that going into next year. But I think if we're going to go full sell mode, that might be something where it's a Mookie Betts situation where we don't want to pay him and we just ship him off. But I do not see the front office making a decision like that, especially after all the money we just gave Cole and Stanton and DJ and everything. Just lots of contract extensions. We have to milk every possible win out of this team, in my opinion. So I think we came up with probably the most likely scenario, but you never really know what they're thinking.
Yeah,
what they're doing.
And there are guys in free agency that play left field that are left-handed. You have Brett Gardner, but I don't think that's really – I mean, if he's back, he's not starting in left field. I think Corey Dickerson's interesting. A lot of people have brought up his name. He's 33, so definitely short-term deal. And then Eddie Rosario, 30 years old, I think had 3 straight seasons of 24 or more home runs. We talked about last night. He's interesting, but he doesn't really walk a lot. Dickerson does get on base more, so maybe we look at him. But yeah, I just think Stanton just needs to suck it up and go play left field. Like, it's gotten to the point where it's like Stanton's healthy and all, and like he's in the lineup. We need him in the lineup in National League games. We need him every day. And maybe that means DHing and playing left field, going on and off, but he needs to play some left field. Center field, you said Ketel Marte. I think I know Clint Frazier doesn't have too much value. Justin Wilson has no value. But if we move a Chapman or a Voit, we're still going to get good value. We're not going to get Gleyber Torres anymore, but we're still going to get, I don't know if we want MLB ready or someone like on the cusp, but we could get something good for Aroldis Chapman for a team that's pushing. Maybe a team like the Giants, a team that's trying to like spread their wings and try to like separate them and really like make, a run for that division title. Or I don't know, I didn't really come prepared with like
There'll be a fit.
there will be a
Closers are they're always very wanted by the trade deadline. And if we wanted to move Chapman, we could. I haven't heard any noise outside of you and me talking about it, but
yeah, I mean,
it's a play that could open up some doors for us.
So we give value for Marte, Cattell that is, but we're also getting value back. So we're being productive in a way. You have Judge play right. I'll go to the bullpen first. If we move Chapman, going into the next season, we have a club option on Darren O'Day. A lot of people are shaky about him, but I think a veteran guy, just a different look, a different sidearm look, just to, mess with the other team. You saw what Tampa did last year with Loop and Ryan Thompson and Nick Anderson and Diego Castillo, so on and so forth. Yeah. O'Day, you have a bullpen of O'Day, King, Sessa, Wandy, Litke, Loizaga, Green, Britton. There's nothing wrong with that.
Very good. Still very good.
You look at the rotation, moving Tyone out. Cole, Domingo, Montgomery, Severino, and Davey. And you might not trust Davey. You might not get a healthy Luis Severino. Oh, we didn't even talk about him. He just went out with an injury in a rehab game.
Tore his groin. His MRI is going to come out today. Well, he's done. I tweeted it last night. I was feeling pretty down on the team. I think he's done for the year, which would put him through 3 years of his extension with no innings pitched, pretty much, because it was after 19, right? Or wait, do you know when he signed his extension? After 18.
Yeah, I don't remember when they signed it, but I know he got hurt going into last year, or he got the surgery going into last year.
Yeah, no, so it'll be actually not 3. Yeah, so 2 years of no innings pitched, just another disastrous extension.
Well, I mean,
along with the Hicks and
in 2019, Severino.
2019 he barely pitched, right?
But he came back and pitched the postseason pretty much. So
yeah, and then
you have that. But yeah, like I said,
just a disaster.
I mean, maybe you don't trust in Davey and maybe Severino's not back, but there are potential guys in the market and free agency that you could bring in that won't be, that won't be too expensive. You got Zach Davies, who put up a really nice season last year. Danny Duffy, veteran left-hander, has pitched in big games. Not great, but he's been pitching really good this year. Anthony DeSclafani for the Giants, once again, like he's been a solid right-handed pitcher throughout his whole career. Like low 3 ERA this year. Been one of the reasons why the Giants have been so good. Robbie Ray's been better recently. No, we were always rumored to try to trade for him. And then Eduardo Rodriguez, which would be in the division, kind of stick it to Boston move.
Same with Ray, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But more Erod because he's been there for a while. I just think like one of those guys could easily, piece them in. But it's just like we have like Domingo Germán in a good rotation is maybe a 3 or a 4. Montgomery in a good rotation is probably a 4 or a 5. Severino at full health is a 2 at most, in my opinion. Davey, middle of the rotation. Like we only have like one really good top of the line guy. It just feels like all these good Yankee teams over the years have had multiple guys that were able to step into a postseason game and just you could put all of your trust in them. In 2009, you had Sabathia and Pettit. In the good old days, you had Cone, you had Wells, and then you had a stacked bullpen. You had Clemens, Pettit too. So it's you had guys that you look to and you trust. But I don't know if I can trust a Domingo Germán in a playoff game. I don't know for sure if I can trust a Jordan Montgomery in a playoff game. Severino too. Like, can we really trust Severino?
Not at all. Oh my God, not at all. He's imploded.
He's imploded. We've seen him implode.
Yeah, this is
Cole implode yet.
Just back to where we've been the last 5 years with the pitching. Just Kluber was a good idea. The injury just sucks. Didn't really pan out the way we wanted it to with that. But you need at least 2 guys who are just tough as nails. You can pencil them in and you're going to get. And we haven't had that in a very long time.
And maybe that means we try to get Zach Gallen, and that's even going to be more of a package. We don't know if he can pitch in a playoff game, but at least we know he's young. We know he's controllable. We know he's talented. I mean, with Tyone, he was a shot in the dark. We didn't really know what we were getting. We saw production from him in past years. We knew there was an injury problem, and he's been healthy, but he stinks. So,
yeah,
I mean, I think Kluber's another option next year and then we said Masahiro Tanaka. There's been speculation. There was speculation that he may come back next year. I haven't really heard about it recently, but after he signed Japan, people are like, oh, maybe the Yankees will bring him back once Kluber's contract is up. I like that, but our backs were up against the wall when it came to the luxury tax this year. But if we make all these moves, I just did the math. Based on contracts this year, we're clearing a 14.8 cap hit from Chapman, a 6.3 cap hit from Sanchez. It says arbitration 2 for Sanchez. Aren't there 3 years of arbitration?
I thought he was
a free agent as well.
I think he
didn't
we? Yeah, we picked up. It was like we were unsure for a minute if we were going to pick up his option or something.
But then again, it says Judge is also in arbitration too. So I don't really understand. But
I feel like that makes sense for Judge because we know we have him next year. But I thought
we know we have him next year, but it's also Gary says arbitration too. I'm not really sure. But hypothetically, if we traded that 6.3 cap hit and the 2.2 from Tyone, the 2.1 from Frazier, and I believe Wilson's making $2 million. That's like $27 million that we wouldn't be spending this year, next year. We talked about it last night. It was like 18 to like 43 in guaranteed money, but this is like the cap hits this year. But those numbers could potentially increase with arbitration and new contracts with Sanchez next year. But
we're looking at a point where things are going to start shifting around. Things are going to start shifting around. We're not just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
The thing is with the Chapman thing is we might move Chapman, but then we got to bring people. You might think we got to bring people back in, but we already have those guys. We already have Britton to close games. We already have Loizaga and Chad Green to set up. We already have the middle inning guys. Like we don't need to really fill that in. And with the starting rotation, we already have 5 guys that can do the job. We're probably going to bring in someone on a quick year deal, but we talked about like a Davies, a Kluber, a Tanaka, or something like that to go in and pencil in the middle of the rotation. So I don't really think we have to really move around a lot of things. If we move Clint Frazier, we have a guy to play left field. So we have depth. We might be sacrificing some of the depth to make a run, but we're going to have more money this year going into next year if we make these moves. Another thing about left field, Charlie Blackmon's also on the market. I don't want Charlie Blackmon playing left field at Yankee Stadium, but he definitely left-handed bat, can swing the stick. We can get a lot. Like I said, we can get a lot from Chapman. We can get some from Voit. And she's these kind of moves that where we bring in a Marte to, separate this year from next, get into like finish off next year strong, but then get into next year and have a squad ready to go. Lower your expectations for the rest of the season. But like I said, we have the guys in line to play with money. We don't have all that much to work with up against the luxury tax, but if we make the necessary moves, we could be looking at $27 million minus a catcher and maybe a starting pitcher at plus what Marte is going to make in his team option if we do end up pulling the trigger.
No, it'll be interesting. There's lots of ways we can take it, and it'll just be down to what the front office thinks and how their outlook is on it.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered the entire entire team. So we play the Blue Jays next. They're coming off. They destroyed the Boston Red Sox recently. They've got Ryu. They've got
Vlad. It's
yeah.
it's just so they're just playing. They're hitting so well, and then Ryu, I feel like kills us. He shoved earlier in the year against us, opening series or opening day actually.
But, tonight's Monty versus Ryu, and then it's Cole versus Stripling, and Michael King's penciled in to start the third game of the season, 7-7. Don't know who's pitching for the Jays, but yeah, Vladimir Guerrero has been on fire. 22 home runs this year. Hit a game-tying home run against the Red Sox yesterday. He's crazy. Teoscar's been on fire. They hit like 8 home runs the other day, so that's not good. We're going to wrap things up here with a quick random series of the day, random game of the day, but we're going to talk about a random series that was brutal, but, we smacked the Dodgers in the next series, so it wasn't as bad. August 20th to August 22nd, 2019, the Yanks lost to Homer Bailey, Mike Fiers, and Tanner Roark. 2 5-3 losses and a 6-2 loss. Luke was actually at the game.
The middle one.
First home run, first full homer of the
Oakland,
season. Can't play in Oakland.
Yeah, no, Oakland, it's just a tough place to play. They're banging the drums. They're making all the noise. This food sucks. The stadium's gross. It's just a bad place to be, and I feel like we never win any game. I don't think I saw one win in the 6 years I lived here. I went to probably 3 or 4 games at the Coliseum. I don't think I've seen one win. It's just a dungeon over there, and we looked lifeless in these games in this series, losing to Homer Bailey, Mike Fiers, and Tanner Roark, who you just don't lose to under normal circumstances. And there's just some places you just can't win, and this is definitely one of them against a scrappy team.
I think those 3 are like the 3 most mediocre pitchers, but always the mediocre pitchers always seem to step up against the Yankees because we can't hit guys that we've never seen. That I always reiterate, and guys that are like, middling out and like, their careers are ending and they're not very good, but they still pitch well against the Yankees.
So we basically can't hit good pitching or bad pitching at any point of anyone's career. We just can't hit. That's how it feels this year. Everyone we've gone up against, there's been some reason why we can't hit them, and you just got to hit the ball.
Yeah, we've got like 20 to 25 games against the deadline. Luke and I quickly did a sheet. We're thinking 1 out of 3 from Toronto, 1 out of 3 from Oakland. That would make us 2-6. 2 out of 3 from Kansas City. We'd be 4-9. Then 1 out of 3 from Boston. We'd be 5-12. So like just from the jump, and then we finished it out pretty strong with 2 out of 4, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, and that was just basing on that. But yeah, we have 25 games to work with. Are we buyers? Are we sellers? Are we both? We're not really sure yet. We're not feeling good about the team at all. And I mean, that's
not at all. We'll know in the next couple of weeks what we'll be doing at the deadline, but just got to stick it out and see what happens.
Yep. So follow us on all social medias.
Sure.
Check out
Monty
Twitter.
Bark Pod.
Yep. Check out the Instagram, and we'll catch you guys sometimes next week. Hope the Yankees are doing better.
Yes, sir. Catch you later.
Yep.
Peace.